Hi, my name is Andrew James, and I'm here to talk about avoiding extraneous cognitive overload. We can avoid cognitive overload by removing extraneous information and by properly designing classes to lay out instructional materials more coherently. To start, coherence reduces extraneous material when the instructor removes the extra material from their multimedia presentation. This extraneous material can either be pictures or words that may be interesting material but are not related to the learning concepts. While using both pictures and words is better than using one individually, using too many or unrelated multimedia is not helpful for learning. The dual channel system needs to process and take in and interpret as much as possible. Information that is not related to the learning will overload the limited capacity working load past the cognitive capacity. In the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, learners have to select words and images that are relevant, organize them, and integrate them together and build connections. When there's too much extraneous information, then the learners have a much more difficult time choosing what is important. The overall goal is to reduce the extraneous processing for learning to occur. It also allows more time to be dedicated to the intrinsic load, which is the important part that makes the learning more active. In this example, we are going to remove the extraneous information to reduce the extraneous processing. The new word problem will be easier for students to follow. I also like to teach strategies like this to my students so that they can reduce their own extraneous processing. Up next is signaling. Signaling lowers the cognitive load by reducing the search for information. It cues the learners to key information and helps them select what is relevant. The extraneous information, which is unimportant, can draw the learner away from the true learning. So instructors need to organize this information with their text structure and display of text with subheadings, colors, or bolded words. They can also use subtitles in videos or arrows in pictures. Signaling can help make the learner actively think. In the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, it especially helps the learner select the relevant information, whether it be words or pictures, and organize them with the prior knowledge. Signaling reduces the extraneous information so that it isn't confused with the true learning. Instructors really need to signal this important concept with arrows or subheadings or subtitles in videos. This allows more time to focus on the intrinsic load and the real learning. Up next is an example of signaling. I've pointed out the key parts of a circle using arrows in the diagram pointing to specific parts of the image. Last is the spatial contiguity principle. This is the use of the minimum amount of space to reduce visual search. This reduces the cognitive load caused by poor instructional design because of the reduced amount of space between text and image. The relevant information needs to be close together because breaking apart makes it difficult to find information. When using graphics, use an image incorporated with signaling to be most effective for learning, so it reduces the spacing and it points to the key parts. As part of the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, spatial contiguity really helps the learners find relevant information quickly to process and organize them with prior knowledge. Then they can store it in their long-term memory. This demonstration shows the key parts labeled to finding volume of a rectangular pyramid. The main purpose is to keep the image together through signaling, but with proper spacing. The spacing is limited to help the learner find the important parts of the image more easily and more quickly. That's all I have. Be sure to implement these as you are teaching. Thank you.